Alright, I'm going to pick obedient and antisocial as the hero. On your way to the Overlord's castle, you spot a maiden heading back toward the village. She couldn't have been coming from the Overlord's castle, could she? This may be the exact maiden you're currently seeking to rescue. You approach her with curiosity. You ask the maiden what she's doing. Doesn't she know the Overlord's castle is like right there? It's dangerous. The maiden explains that she spoke with the Overlord, and it turns out the demons never had any diabolical plans to harm the village or anyone in it. Let's be trusting! Yay! You have a new trait. You have no reason to assume she's lying to you, even though her story is kind of hard to believe. You feel you should trust her. You tell her you're pretty surprised that everyone has been wrong about demons all along. The townspeople must be informed of this immediately. The two of you return to the village. They had all been so worried. They praise you for your bravery. But the maiden quickly sets the record straight. There was nothing she needed to be rescued from in this... But the maiden quickly sets the record straight. There was nothing she needed to be rescued from in the first place. The maiden has definitely been listening to Cinderella by the Cheetah Girls. The villagers look to you for an explanation. You politely inform them it isn't your story to tell. You merely ran into her on the way to the castle. She explains that the Overlord isn't interested in capturing maidens or anything of the sort. The villagers turn to you again in disbelief. They aren't being subtle in how they trust this maiden's story. You totally believe her, but to placate these fair citizens, you volunteer to speak to the demons personally, just in case. The crowd breaks into hushed whispers. You're too busy thinking what a great and reliable hero you are to hear what they're saying. The town's elder's voice breaks you out of your thoughts. He implores you to meet with the Overlord immediately and says they'll all keep an eye on the maiden until you return. You figure that sounds alright, but the mood is kind of intense for some reason. Did you miss something? You weren't sure what's going on, but you get the feeling it might be bad to leave the maiden on her own. But she suddenly takes off running. Oh, you thought the two of you were in this together. Her actions have convinced the crowd that she's obviously been a liar and a witch from the start. People are shouting for you to hunt her and her demon friends down already. But that doesn't seem like a very heroic task. You can't help but feel these people are wrong. It's up to you to catch up to her, to talk to the demons in order to clear up this misunderstanding. You valiantly dash after the maiden toward the Overlord's castle. The air becomes dark and thick as you enter deep into demon territory. No, you realize it's just normal smoke. You see the maiden ahead, but she's stopped in her tracks, the Overlord's castle engulfed in flames. You had only taken an eye off the maiden for a second, but she's already disappeared. You get closer to the castle, but the smoke is so thick now, you think of turning back. The maiden might need your help, but you can barely see. She could be impossible to find. She could have been lying to you all along. Was this a trap? Would it be worth risking your life on that chance? Your legs feel heavy. No, going in there would be suicide. You'll return to the villagers and tell them there was nothing you could do. You were too late. The maiden was claimed by the demons. I'm going to pick antisocial and obedient for the maiden and see where that takes me. You weren't sure you should listen to this maiden. You've been taught your whole life that demons are evil. You ask if she's sure about all this, but she gets very upset that you think she would lie to you. She storms off before you could say anything else. You decide to return to the village, certain that she must have been the kidnapped maiden you were sent to rescue. Glad that took care of itself. Take your time walking home. Job well done today, you think to yourself. As you walk past to the town square, you notice the whole village is crowded around. Is that the maiden you saw earlier? She's bound to the wooden stake. The crowd is in a frenzy. Smoke begins to rise, and you stand idly by as flames consume the maiden. She must have done something horrible to deserve that. She seemed nice though, you think. But evil comes in all forms, you reassure yourself. You decide to call it a day and return to your house, but you can't escape the sinking feeling. Maybe you aren't cut out for this role. I'm going to keep trusting, obedient, and antisocial, but I'm going to play as the maiden, see what happens. He is very surprised that demons don't seem to be as malicious as you were raised to believe. The two of you return to the village, hoping to communicate this to everyone. They had all been so worried and are very glad that the hero brought you back. You quickly set the record straight. You weren't rescued because there was nothing to be rescued from in the first place. The villagers seemed confused and looked to the hero for an explanation. He tells them he only ran into you on his way to the castle and that this isn't really his story to tell. You explain to them how you met the Overlord and that she's not actually interested in capturing maidens or other mean things like that. The villagers look again to the hero for confirmation. You feel a little miffed that they seem to prefer his word over yours. but you don't say anything about it. The hero proclaims that he believes your story, but volunteers to go talk to the demons themselves, just to make absolutely sure. The crowd breaks into hushed whispers. You hear words like trickery and demon sympathizer being thrown around, which makes you frown. You're pretty shocked that everyone's this hesitant to believe you. Does the hero even trust you? You aren't sure anymore. An old man implores the hero to go speak with the overlord immediately. He says you should be held prisoner and considered dangerous until the hero returns. Much to your disbelief, the crowd agrees with him. Because of course, if you were conspiring with the demons, they can't afford to let their guard down. The whole village would be slaughtered by monsters. The hero isn't saying anything. You'll be tied up and tossed into a cell at this rate. If you're going to be held captive by anyone, it's going to be the overlord, not your fellow countrymen. Oh, speak resolute. New trait, you boldly announce that you'll accompany the hero to prove yourself. You'd rather risk what's out there instead of staying in a village that doesn't trust you. No one seems to know how to react. You grab the hero by the wrist and take off before anyone stops you. But as you approach the castle, you notice something's gone terribly wrong. It appears to be on fire. Is the overlord alright? You have to be sure everyone is safe. You've already taken off before the hero can even think of stopping you. You scan the fleeing demons, but the overlord isn't among them. Okay, we've read that. And yeah, she's selfless. That's how it ends. Disloyal, obedient, and trusting as the maiden. And we're gonna die this time. This time we're gonna leave on our own. You can prove yourself without anyone's help. You make a run for the overlord's castle, leaving the hero behind. A suspicious group of demons stand just outside the entrance. They're talking about assassinating the overlord. They immediately notice you overheard them. The underling you recognize from before is the first to do something about it. This is just the way it has to be. They suddenly attack you. In that moment, you regret having ever trusted the demons. You die instantly. Alright, I am picking these: antisocial overlord, obedient maid, and trusting hero as underling. You and your friends turn to notice the maiden from earlier has overheard your entire conversation. It'd be bad for you if the overlord found out about this. Ooh, captor, new trait. Toss her into the dungeon. You and your friends seize the maiden and bring her to the dungeon under the castle. It's empty, save for the decorative skulls. They're only there to make it feel more spooky. The maiden is very upset. You leave her in the cell to continue scheming with your friends. But now a hero has arrived at the front gates. He's asking about a maiden, perhaps the very one you just locked up. The gatekeeper, who must have seen everything, tells the hero exactly what happened. He snitched. What an idiot, you think? Why give the hero an excuse to start slaughtering us? The hero yells, "Prepare to face justice," and other such cliche hero lines before driving his sword into the gatekeeper's torso. You're small compared to a lot of your friends, so you're able to slip away without getting cut up by that sword. You get to thinking, if this hero took down the overlord for you, everything might actually work out in your favor. You wait for things to die down outside before poking your head out. You spot the overlord and hero locked in a battle. They've worn each other down, making this very easy for you. Once an opening presents itself, you hit the back of the hero's head, knocking him out. What are you doing? Couldn't you tell this was a duel? You don't respond. You have to carry out the assassination. You finish off the hero next. Pause. You can't let him revive and come after you later. Also pause. Kind of a cheap victory, but it doesn't make any difference. Anyone who managed to survive comes crawling out of their hiding places. You are the new ruler of this castle. Your subjects bow before you. You live in fear that they will one day betray you as you had betrayed your overlord. We're going to do all of that again, but instead we're going to choose the other choice. Use the maiden for killing practice. This is the way it has to be, you declare, before jumping her and clawing her guts out. It turns out you're already an expert at ending lives. Your friends call you a show-off. You go back into the castle to wash off all that icky human blood. As you're finishing up, you hear the sounds of battle outside. A hero has come. Seeing the dead maiden must have made him pretty angry. You get to thinking, if this hero took down the overlord for you, everything might actually work out in your favor. Okay, let's skip ahead. Okay, going for diplomatic for the hero, disloyal for the underling, and let's see how that goes as the overlord. You've almost fallen asleep when the maiden and hero bust into your room, frantically trying to communicate something to you. You're told that a group of demons is plotting to assassinate you. You're not surprised. How nice of the humans to care, though. One of your underlings barges in next, shouting that the humans are liars. They're followed by another group of demons, crying that everything was that first underling's plan. Everyone is shouting over each other now, and it's very annoying. You yell for all of them to shut their traps. You have no doubt that your servants would let their ambition cloud their judgment and lead them to try to take your throne. Regardless of who led this conspiracy, I have no choice but to punish everyone to keep you all in your place, crushed beneath my heel. Saying that made you feel very overlord-like. You aren't sure you have the strength to back it up, though. Lately, all you do is sleep. A group of demons start muttering something about going back to plan A and suddenly slam your door shut. You, the maiden, the hero, and one of your underlings are trapped inside. In an instant, the whole room is in flames. The underling pounds on the door, cursing at their friends for betraying them. The hero pounds on the door as well, vowing to slay the cowardly demons on the other side. So this is how you'll die. Burned alive in your own room by those you thought you could trust. You should have expected this from a bunch of idiot demons, though. You notice the maiden crying. Why does she have to die over something that has nothing to do with her? Perhaps she was cursed from the moment she spoke to you. You wonder if you're cursed as well. You're so filled with anger and frustration, you don't even notice that you've grabbed the underling those traitors blamed everything on. They cry for mercy, saying that they were dragged into this plot knowing they'd be killed if they took your side. They cry that they didn't want to have to kill you. You almost feel sorry for them. Ooh. Merciful is a new trait. I will go for forgive him. You release the underling. Killing them wouldn't make you feel any better. Besides, they've already gotten their punishment. You all burn together. Oh, before you're taken back to reset the story once again, you pause for a moment. True end? You say to yourself. What was the point of all my effort if the true ending is this terrible? You must have forgotten where you were. This is bad end theater. Is the pain setting in? Ah, but you should have been well aware of what you've been shown when you entered this place. It's a problem I've seen quite often. At some point you grew attached to my little cast. You started to relate to their flaws, their plights. You started wishing for their happiness. But you aren't going to find that here in my theater, my lovely crafted labyrinth of suffering. The choice to continue on to the next ending is always yours. I'll leave you to it, dear guest. Oh my god, that was cool. So I must be on my way to the true ending. Let's get to it. We're gonna pick diplomatic for hero, disloyal for underling, and merciful for overlord. For the hero. Is she going to kill it as retribution? It continues to cry and make excuses, but the overlord does nothing. To your surprise, she lets it go. Are demons capable of mercy? You guess it doesn't matter now. We'll all burn together. That was a quick ending. Hero's true end. Oh! No matter the perspective, the true ending remains the same. That's what makes it true. You couldn't resist seeing it for yourself though, could you? I wonder what will happen when you collect them all. Will you give in to despair? Or what? This game is so interesting. I really love it. We're going for trusting hero, obedient maid, disloyal and captor for underling, and antisocial for overlord as the hero. When you reach the gates, you ask the demons if they've seen the maiden. They have. They inform you she's being held in the dungeon at the moment. She trusts them, and in return they lock her up. So demons are truly evil beings after all. You demand they take you to her, but they do not let you pass. You should have expected as much from these unreasonable creatures. You know what you must do. You thrust your blade through the demon before you and rush the castle alone. You're the only one who can save the maiden now. What the F are you doing killing all of my soldiers? The overlord is angry. You vowed to exterminate her and all of demonkind. You clash again and again, but the overlord isn't going down easy. You're both dangerously low on health when everything goes black. Your quest has come to an abrupt end. What do you mean by that? Oh. A letter flutters down from beyond the curtain. You found lost letter number 1. What does that mean? Lost letter? Oh, what's this? My love, it just isn't fair at all, is it? For them to force us apart like this, it's unreasonable, cruel. I had to find an outlet for this grief somehow, so I decided to write. And I'll keep writing until the day you find me once more. And then maybe we could write a story together. I'm waiting for that day. Forever yours, Tragedy. Ooh, it's Tragedy like the mask. We're going for trusting hero, polite and obedient maiden, disloyal and captor for underling, and antisocial for overlord as the maiden. They immediately notice you overheard them and decide to lock you in the dungeon before you can cause any trouble. You cry out, but the demons ignore your protests. You can't believe you escaped possibly being thrown in a cell back in your village, only to be tossed in this awful place. This is terrible. Who's going to keep those demons from harming the Overlord? You hope she can fend for herself. You sure can't. You hear the sounds of battle echoing through the halls outside. The hero follow you? If he's out there, your cries don't reach him. After a while, the violence seemed to die down. It's impossible to tell what's happened. You continue to wait, but no one comes for you. Unable to escape, you rot in that cell. That's depressing. We are very close to reaching the end of all endings. We got all of the hero. We need one more maiden, one more overlord, and one more underling. We're going to do trusting hero, polite maiden, disloyal underling, antisocial, and merciful overlord as maiden. The overlord spares the underling. You feel relieved, but does it make any difference? Will you all burn together? That was maiden's true end. Ooh, a letter flutters down from beyond the curtain. You found lost letter number 2. It can't end like this. Keep collecting bad endings for now. I will do that. Let's read number 2. My love, I finally fulfilled a childhood dream of mine. Yes, that's right. I opened up my very own theater. You would be so proud. If you could only see it. I know how much it would have meant to you to be at my side on opening night. I'm sorry for going ahead without you. But I thought, if my theater could come world famous, then maybe you just might hear of it. Wherever you are, forever yours, Tragedy. We're going to pick trusting for hero, polite, obedient, and resolute for maiden, loyal for underling, antisocial, and merciful for overlord. And we're going to choose the underling. To your surprise, the overlord spares you. Or maybe she'd rather see you suffer instead. Looking around, you've just gone from one dead end to another. The maiden is crying, the hero is silent. You all burn together. Okay, the true end. A letter flutters down from beyond the curtain. You found lost letter number 3. Let's read number 3. My love, I've been feeling a little depressed lately. Many patrons have come to my theater, but none so far have stayed to experience every tale in its entirety. The critics haven't exactly been kind, but I understand. My stories aren't exactly crowd pleasers. Despite that, you always listen to the very end. I'm grateful for that. Hope to see you again soon. Forever yours, Tragedy. And guys, we have one more ending to go. And then it's over. Or is it? Let's see what that ending looks like. All right, so for the last ending, we're going to be picking diplomatic for hero and disloyal for underling. Nothing for maiden, nothing for overlord. You pierce their chests with your claws. They scream. The hero backs away. He is wise not to interfere. They've stopped moving, but you keep digging and twisting your claws into them. It doesn't make you feel any better. The underling's corpse burns along with you and the 2 humans. What a spiteful ending. A letter flutters down from beyond the curtain. You found lost letter number 4. All right, let's read the last letter. My love, do you remember when we first met? I had just finished one of my scripts. One I was quite proud of. In fact, as I read it aloud, you happened to pass by. What a terrible ending, you said. Why should these poor fools have to die? You were so rude. You wouldn't accept any of my justifications. And yet, you managed to convince me. It really would be better if everyone could live in harmony, however unrealistic that felt. I look back fondly on that day, even now. I wonder if somewhere you're thinking of it too. Forever yours, Tragedy.